And we are live, people. Come on, everybody, get in, get in. Oh, y'all can't see the screen. Hold on. Why can't you see the screen? Oh, that's why. Hold on. Hold on. My bad, y'all. Oh, still didn't show. I'm trying to get the thing back up, y'all. I don't know what's going on. It was just up here before I started this. And now it's gone. Hold on. Do it like this. Technical difficulties here at the start of the show, but that's okay. We will get it back up and running shortly. Back. My bad, y'all. We had some, I guess it was a user error. But we are good. We are good. Welcome back. Let me just do a quick test. Make sure we sound good. You y'all can hear me. We'll probably cut this part out. Test. Got it. Test. How we sound? We sound good. Music be turned down a little bit. There we go. Turn that down some. That better? Yeah. There we go. Right there should be good. That's better. All right. Welcome, Club Built Mogul. Welcome, all my moguls. What we doing? We excelling. We moving forward with life. Are we doing better than we did yesterday? Are we improving upon what we need to, what we set our goals to? Is this working for you? Is it not working for you? Like, you really have to sometimes sit down and make sure you're going in the direction you set forth when you began your journey. A lot of us are on a journey, and we're going to continue to be on a journey. So we have to look out for each other, and sometimes we forget to look out for ourselves and say, hey, am I where I want to be at? If not, what can I do to get myself back to that level? Do I need to lose 5 more pounds, 10 more pounds? Do I need to eat healthier? Maybe it's what I've been eating. I've been feeling kind of depressed lately because I've been eating crappy food. I haven't really reached out to family or people who I know love me and I care about and talk to them for a little bit. What am I depriving of my sanity and my mental healthness of? What am I depriving that of? Because no one's paying attention to that anywhere you go. No one's paying attention to your mental health and your mental fortitude where you go. Everybody is focused on whatever they're focused on, and it ain't that. So this is just a quick check-in for you, for all my members here, all the people who joined in and came along the ride and just wanted to, support and show love and recognize that none of us are perfect, but we always got to strive for better. We always got to strive for better. And that's the main point of this episode. Really is going to really have a conversation about our police. Like, why are we still having these issues? And we're going to get into everything about the police, and I might change the title to this because we're going to go into a lot of what we talked to earlier about the slave catchers and how they were introduced here and what they were first sought out to do and how they still function to this day in that manner. So it's like to think that we've came this far and trying to still, because I'm not against the police. I just want that to be said first and foremost. I'm not against the police. That doesn't mean I'm pro blue, fight for the blue, back the blue. Doesn't mean that. But I am not against the police. I don't have a vendetta against police, even though I've been done dirty by police and I am facing, litigations, and I'm not facing it anymore, but I'm actually suing the police. So it's like there's a couple things that I can't discuss just anywhere, but I have my things and my personal things with that situations and experiences that I've dealt with police officers, and that has no effect on my viewpoint on the police. And my real effect, my real criticism comes from what I see happen all across the country and even across the world. And sometimes that's where my criticism comes from. My criticism comes from things I've seen my friends go through and other people I've known go through, because that's where it comes. Now, I've been faced with racism when it comes to police. A lot of black men have. A lot of black men have been lied on, have been cheated by the system, tricked by the system, trapped by the system. Yes, and there's a lot of innocent people behind bars right now. I would say the uppers. I would say about 10% of the population, prison population, whether no matter what demographic they come from, what race they are. I would say about 10% are innocent, and I would say, well, I wouldn't even have to say that because you can't really go and measure that who's innocent. But you can measure the amount of innocent people we know that get out, and you can use those as numbers. And that's just the ones that we know. And just off of the ones that we know, let's see here, how many people are innocent? How many innocent people are on death row? At least 200 people have been exonerated from death row in the United States according to the death penalty. At least 4% of those sentenced to death are innocent. That's just to death. That's just sentenced to the death penalty. That's innocent of those crimes. Numbers go up the lesser the charge because there's more of it. So it's just how many think people are innocent of possession charges that maybe they didn't have that amount on them at the time that they were arrested. How many people you think are innocent of assault charges or battery charges or even some other type of charges? And we really have to really sit back and sometimes just say, wait a minute, what is really the right direction to go in? Because we don't want to encourage this to keep happening where innocent people are being attacked and harmed by police or putting. Sonya Massey was just wasn't even there's been dozens, hundreds of thousands of cases like Sonya Massey's. Not to the extent of her being killed, but being treated as a hostile person when you're not even hostile. You're in your own domain, your own home. That is something that these police officers do to every black person they come across when they come to the house. If a white officer is coming to your home and you're black and you're living in your home, they're going to treat you like you're hostile. It don't matter what you do. When they see objects, they're like, "Oh, can you put that away?" Because that's what they do. And it's like they're trained and they're already committed into those behaviors. So you have no defense against it. You can't. The only hope is you can have a cop that isn't a fucking trigger happy scary pants, like. And I'm trying to just keep it, just not try to go in on the police as much, but a lot of those police officers, you're cowards. A lot of you are cowards. You shouldn't have the job. I'm sorry, if you're pulling your gun out on a woman that is 5'2", 125 pounds, because she put took a pot off of the stove, then I'm sorry, you don't need to be working there. You don't need to be doing that. And I'm not surprised because I know how these police officers are and how they act, but I just don't know why we sit here and pretend like this is acceptable. Why is this acceptable? Why are innocent people like Sonya Massey being treated as hostile, as murderers, as aggressors? Why is that happening? Well, the answer is the police is not who you think they are. It's not. This is who the police are. This is who the police. This is who they are. The slave catcher. Now, the reason I titled this Police to Police is because the people who claim to police the police are the people who are telling the police to do what they're doing. They are put there to strike fear in you. Why do you think now that they're recording it and they have no care that it's being recorded? They know the camera's on, but they do not care. Why do you think that is? They want you to see this. They want to psychologically deter you from challenging or doing anything against a police officer or the law. That is the way to establish. It's just like with the Trump assassination attempt. That is the way that these people speak in their language. They speak with hate, with evilness, with death, with fighting, with violence. That's what they meet you with. So these are the people that all of the media and everything you believe that they try to put on black people, that black people were the ones that were violent. No, these people are showing you it's them. And they are bolstering it in your face. Are you going to accept it? That's the thing. They want you to be okay with this. So, yeah, this is what we're up against. We're up against the slave catchers. And this is an article I just wanted to kind of bring up the title because I like the title, When the Slave Catcher Come to Town. You don't got to read the article. But I did want to get into the history of American policing. So this was an old article, but I read this article when it came out, and it always stood out to me. That's when it was one particular part, and it's right here. Policing was not only the social institution enmeshed in slavery. Slavery was fully institutionalized in American economic and legal order, with laws being enacted in both the state and national divisions of government. Virginia, for example, enacted more than 130 slave statutes between 1689 and 1865. Slavery and the abuse of people of color, however, was not merely a Southern affair as many have taught it to believe. Connecticut, New York, and other colonies enacted laws to criminalize and control slaves. So this has been something that's been happening for hundreds of years. Since the 1600s, people. And you're sitting here telling me that I'm making this up, I'm pulling this out of thin air. That's how they do this. They blatantly in your face tell you that you're making something up that you know is true. They know it's true. Everybody knows it's true, that this has been happening in this country for hundreds of years, and black people have been targeted for it. And yet they want to just lie to you and still say it. That's letting you know that there needs to be a shift. There needs to be a change, because that voice shouldn't exist. If you're going to lie and you're going to cover things up and you're going to be a snake, a weasel, whatever derogatory animal you can think of, a pig. If you're gonna be these, if you want to do that, like I don't understand. I don't understand why anybody would want to take on that form and just lie to themselves and lie to the world about our history and what's going on. So if you're over here saying, oh, Sonya Massey, she was coming at him with that pot pretty fast, I don't even know what to do with you. I don't even know what to do with you. I don't. And there were some people up here saying that. You can leave the page. You don't have to listen to me. You can go somewhere else. Go to one of your other channels that, you know, your Trump supporter channels. Leave that. Leave here, because you're not welcome. You're not welcome here with that. We respect the truth here, and we tell it. So if you don't like that, the Club Mogul ain't for you. I'm sorry. But it goes on to say the legacy of slavery and racism did not end after the Civil War. In fact, of course, it can be argued that extreme violence against people of color became even worse with the rise of vigilante groups who resisted Reconstruction. So this is why you gotta know your history, because this is exactly what's happening now. You're seeing groups of other private organizations forming their own security protection groups. And I'm seeing them out here in Charlotte too, where you'll see like you think it's a police car, but it's not a police car. It's basically a hired gunman to protect somebody or somewhere, or a business or whatever, or just a group that militarize itself. These people, that's what they do. They come together and militarize themselves, and then they attack random people, just like what happened with Sonya Massey. That these police officers, these are militarized like organizations, and it's like they don't. There's no war to fight, so they just who they gonna kill? They got to kill somebody. In their minds, they're in the war. They're in the battlefield in their minds. Now, I never seen pots and pans enter the battlefield, but apparently to this cop, he was afraid of them pots and pans that Sonya had. Sad, but yeah. Oh man, but yeah, I wanted to read that part right here because it has a lot to do with what's going on. And if you don't know how to really tie this back to your history, at least something that you know about history, then I mean, I can tell you as much as I can, but you're going to have to do the research yourself. You can start by reading this full article here if you want to, you know, just get a little brief, you know, kind of rundown. And I could read the whole thing, but I really just wanted you to know, wanted everyone to know here, if you're going to be here, you're going to acknowledge, because I saw some comments earlier, but I just want everybody to know, you got to acknowledge in Club Big Mogul that slavery and the effects of it are still at play here. And they're always been at play. And they're going to continue to use those same tactics to try and psychologically divide us and control and demean and dehumanize us. They're going to do so many tactics, but you got to be strong, you got to be resilient, and we got to not let up. Keep your foot on their neck. Keep your foot on their necks, people. But yeah, how are we going to police the police? That's going to be the real question here. How do we do this? Because when we think about it, what was that cop able to do? what was that? That cop was able to first murder someone with impunity. Murder someone with no care. Didn't even need to do that. That was not even necessary. That wasn't even something he can go and say, oh yeah. He like, you can't tell the gang you was trying to get into that you killed a young, beautiful, innocent woman. And maybe they sit around and brag about that because she's a black woman, because they do that too. They'll sit around and brag about terrorizing and harming black people. That's what these racists and these white gangs do. And police gangs in USA. They're the largest police gang. There's a police gang unit, and the largest gang in America is the police. "50-year-old police gangs. 50 years of being gang members within the police force. And you want to tell me that was the only gang that existed? No. But yeah, this man murdered this woman, was allowed to kill her, thinking, number one, he would get away with it. Number two, that they would cover for him. Number three, that he just had the whatever he said, people would believe. Oh, she came at me with a pot. Like, the entitlement. It's not even, I don't even think it's fear. I think it's entitlement to be an officer and think that your life is more valuable than anybody else's. And that you need to be at all times in fear of your life, no matter what the circumstance is. And it's like, these are how they are trained, people. These are gang programs. These are gang affiliated people, okay? And they operate that way. They go and plant shit. They cause havoc to the community, and they're paid to do it, and they're enforced to do it because this is where it comes from. It comes from catching slaves, which a lot of those people were in gangs too. That was a gang as well. Slave owners were a gang. This country was run by slave owners. So what does that tell you about crime, about police, about everything in this country? It's time to pull the whole mask off. Let's stop letting it hang halfway off. Pull it all the way off, because we know what's going on here. But Reuters says, most minority communities around the country have complained for decades that some local law enforcement agencies often behave more like racist criminal street gangs than sworn police officers, unlawfully terrorizing black and Latino communities. See, they always got to include Latino communities, like Latino is something separate from black. It's not. It can be the same thing. They're in the same thing. And see, that's what they set that up. They set that Latina Hispanic play up because they know that their race is dwindling and they're pretty much dying out and going out. Is going to be a largely, hugely Hispanic dominant country. It's going to be dominant Hispanic. But the thing about that is Hispanics can be white, can be black, can be all Asian. Hispanic is, it's not really we talked about this. It's not really a race. They made it a race so that they can continue to separate and control people. But it's not really a race. It just means you come from a Spanish-speaking country. That's it. Mexicans are Hispanic. Puerto Ricans are Hispanic. So it's like, come on. What? Why are we playing with ourselves at this point? And we're going to talk about black as well, because black is a word to cover up a lot of who we really are, and we're going to get into that as well. Although serious efforts to confront the issue on a systemic level have been absent, of course, there is some evidence to support the assertion of in many jurisdictions. In Los Angeles, there is no doubt officials have known that violent racist gangs operate within the ranks of the nation's largest local police in LA and Sheriff County Department. For more than 30 years, according to the news reports, federal court decisions, dating back to 1990, the deputy gangs create a shadow system of supervision in conflict with the actual chain of command, and have an us against them culture that leads to racially profiling, frequent and excessive use of force, and sometimes death. So this has been something that's been going on. It goes on in LA, Chicago, New York, Charlotte, Atlanta, Memphis, Knoxville, Nashville, freaking all over, Arizona, everywhere, Detroit. These police gangs operate across the country. And yeah, there's no denying this anymore. Think about how Sonya Massey was able to be killed like that. It's sad. It's sad how she had no way of defending herself. She could do nothing but duck and hide. She ducked, hid, apologized, did whatever she could, and still she was not in any type of aggressive way. These officers have whole dudes attack them with machetes. White dudes attack a white dude could have had a knife in his hand and ran up to that cop. He still would not shot him. He probably would have tased him. And have we seen that happen too many times? And it's like, why? She had no weapon in her hand. She had no malice in her heart. She had nothing to hold a candle to what that officer had. And yet he believed he was the victim. He still believed he was the victim. This is embedded in their training, embedded in their experience, in their environment as a police. So who's policing the police? How are these gangs able to form? You focus on the gangs forming out on the outside in the world, but you got gangs forming on inside of your police department, and you're not policing those. This is why I say I'm not against the police in the general sense, but when it comes to this, this is the reason why people don't like police. Is this a video here? I think this is a video. Let's see here. I don't know what this is. Anyway, 6 LSED stations accounted for well over half of the 133 deputy shootings between 2016 and 2021, and each has an active deputy gang and a history of complaints and lawsuits alleging deputy gang misconduct. The Loyal report found Approximately 80% of these shootings involve Black and Latino people. The county keeps a running lab of legal claims related to the deputy gangs. These cases have cost LA about 21 million cents. So where these deputy gangs are found, they've seen an increased amount of activity, shootings. And a lot of the time, see what these police officers do is they'll go into the neighborhoods and they'll find certain dope boys or whatever they want to call them, and they'll hire them. Let's say, hey, we'll pay you to cause havoc where you're at. Just, go to the other gang, start a fight, whatever. And they pay them, and they get information from them. Or they use them as if they got, like, some charges they want to put on them. But they'll say, hey, if you don't, I won't charge you with this cocaine that I found you on if you rat on your boy over up the street. So they got their own tactics of how they elevate themselves in that realm, and it's devious. It's sinister work. It's very sinister work, and it takes some real fucked up minds to do that. So if you're oblivious to this at this point, I really can't help you. I really can't help you. On March 24th, a civilian commission formed in 2017 to oversee the sheriff's department announced a full-scale investigation to LAS gangs. The move appears to be a commendable effort to truly confront the scope of a profoundly serious problem. Blah 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 blah. So they want to do their investigation now. Oh, this is where the clogs in the system keep us from approaching the actual fix and the solution to the problem. We see the problem, but the system has its own ways of clogging and trying to. You think it will be trying to filter out, information and get everything right. No, it's not about getting it right. It's not about investigating and finding everything out. It's about stalling to enough time so that they can put in their fix in the hole or put in their Trojan virus. Because if you stall long enough and people start forgetting, people stop paying attention to it, now you can throw in a new prosecutor or get the district attorney or the judge, changed or switched, or there's other plays that you can jump in and get around and mess up the entire process and meddle with it. That's why when they say they're doing an internal investigation, well, it's going to have people that's working on the inside that are going to do whatever they can to get the result that they're looking for. So we know the corruption and the level of just filth that exists in the police department and probably within the FBI as well. FBI agents go corrupt all the time. So it's like this is allowed to by the culture of the police. This is allowed. This is what I'm saying. Who's policing the police? This is allowed. The gangs within LSA date back to at least 1971. Senior officers told Los Angeles Times in 1999 members are tattooed with symbols of violence and death and use hand signals and prison slang, and sometimes tax training deputies for money or sex. Wow, just like many criminal gangs. Yo, these are deputized, licensed to kill psychopaths, gang members in your city, right around you. And you're calling them to your house, people. Sorry. I'm so sorry that this happened to her, to Sonya. I am so sorry. Baby, bless your soul. Rest in peace. This is why I tell you women, I get it. You want to be able to call the police if something's happening. You want to be able to do that. But you got to be careful. You can't just result to calling the police. There's things you can save yourself. There's things you can prevent yourself. This is loud. You have ways to handle situations on by whatever means that you can handle it. Not everything needs to have a police officer present, because all they're going to do is make the matters worse. In a lot of cases, it's not really going to make it better. It's not going to make it better. They got lawsuits, and I just wish when she told them, bye, after she told them bye, and he said, "Oh, whose truck that is?" She could have just been like, "Oh, don't worry about it. I'll handle it later," and just say bye. She should have just closed the door. She should have not have allowed him in his home. I don't know why. I don't know why that was the choice and the decision she made. But God is definitely working. And the fact that she said, "I rebuke you in the name of Jesus," and you do that, that's your very next action. You're the devil and you're the demon that we will all rebuke. And not only rebuke, we will shun you away. You are no longer welcome, and you never were welcome to anything we got going on. But now that we seen who you really are, and you were exposed, she exposed you for who you really were, and sadly it cost her life. But she exposed you, and she's resting in heaven right now. And you're going to be forever tormented for the rest of your life and your afterlife, because that was wrong, and you know it was. You know that was an evil thing you did. So congratulations, you're joining the rest of your evil ancestors that terrorized this country, terrorized black people, Latino, brown, whomever they terrorize. You're going right where they're going. But yeah, man, these are the slave catchers. They come here to cause havoc. They come here. They are put in this position to ignite fear into you as slaves. They have to show you that they are in control, that they have authority, they have power. That's why they have these gangs forming in there, because how are we going to compete with that, with the other gangs that we were forming? We formed gangs out here to protect us against the police. That's why we formed gangs. That's why Bloods and Crips were formed, to protect against the police. And they found a way to get in and mess that up as well. So we don't have a way to police the police. We don't have a way to police the police. You tell us, "Oh, vote in your local elections, vote your people out," and it's still the same thing. It's still the same thing. What do? Because voting, it can't be our only move. It can't be the only thing. So we have to go outward. We can't just narrow our approach. We have to go and go solve many problems at once, versus just focusing on one. And I think one of the major problems that we got to look at and get in order is the death rates of our sisters that they're experiencing right now. It's unimaginable. It's unimaginable. This is what, and I think this is why Sonya Massey was attacked the way she was. She's a black mother, probably a black woman who could potentially be a mother. That's who they're attacking. They attack the women because they're the weak in their eyes. They're the ones that are easily. Look about, she was defensive. She was by herself. She had nothing to defend herself against that man, and lost her life because of it. And it's sad to talk about. It's sad that this is happening, but we gotta face reality. So that means we gotta go after each other. Someone should have been there with her. Our sisters, y'all gotta stay. Y'all gotta unite together. Y'all gotta stop this separatism within yourselves. Because a lot of you claim you have each other's backs, but you go and tell your girl that, oh, go ahead and cheat on that nigga. You know, she ain't shit. He ain't buy your nails. Go ahead and, leave him for his friend that you met. Like, giving bad advice because of your emotional trauma is going to create and reverberate unimaginable pain upon you. Unimaginable pain upon you when you do that. And when you don't correct bad behavior amongst your sisterhood. This is what happens. We have to stick together. We can't pretend like we can't pretend like we are just always checking on each other. You checking on your girl all the time. You checking on your boy all the time. Y'all are meeting every week. You're talking about your goals, and you're contributing to each other's businesses a percentage amount, and you're investing in each other's futures. You can't tell me that you're doing that. A lot of you aren't doing that, and I realize a lot of us aren't doing that as black people in the whole. And I don't understand that when we know we can come together and make magnificent things happen. We've done it before, but we have to really hanker down, buckle down, and get to work. That's what it's going to take. That's what it's going to take, people. That's what it's going to take. That is exactly what it's going to take. But yeah, black women need to reunite. You got Kamala in office trying to get in office right now. She's a vice president, so she's in office technically. But you got her there. Use her as the stepping stone to unite black women. Don't worry about the negatives and all the other stuff. Even if she doesn't win the election, this is your time to turn this around. Turn this around. Maternal mortality. The sudden death of Olympic sprinter Tori Bowie at age 32 sent shockwaves around the world. The idea that a young athlete could go into labor and die suddenly stunned many. But this problem is more common than many realize. It is particularly bad for black women. And it's saying it's more common than many people realize. 70 deaths every 100,000 live births. So 70 every 100,000. And that's 2 times the rate. Yeah. Wow. Hope you don't mind me mentioning this, but your own personal story with Tori Bowers, you were a top athlete, track athlete, then track athlete, and died giving birth to their first child. That's just that's sad. Before we get into racial disparity in this country, I mean, America's overall maternal mortality rate is awful compared to other similar countries. So this is a way that American exceptionalism is not in our favor. We are truly the worst of all industrialized countries. I was having a discussion with people about, it was like a panel, and they were all talking about how America was the best, number one this, number one that, and I brought the notion, no, America's not number one in everything. You're number one in healthcare. We're not. Definitely not number one here. Most other countries, low risk care is given by midwives, whereas in the United States, you have low risk care is given by high risk doctors, who then are not giving patients the opportunity to have the psychologic birth that they might be able to. We have lots of unnecessary C-sections who do not have psychosocial supports. We do not have any easy access to things like mental health support, nutrition coaching. There are so many places where we could be better in the United States. So many places. So know that a lot of the deaths during birth can happen, but a lot of it is due to the approach of giving the birth. Are you doing a C-section? Is it the right amount of nutrients that you've been consuming? Have you had the right coaching for that while you were pregnant? And a lot of that is due to the health care. So if you're not aware of how those things affect you in your life, then I suggest you get aware. And I suggest you really look into it about what you know. Study the facts, challenge yourself, because that's why we do this here, because we want to find the truth. Because we say black women are dying at a much higher rate, and a lot of it has to do with racism in the workplace, but also a lot of it has to do with diet, has to do with the type of care that was given to her, not just by the doctor, but from herself. So we can't then go and say, put all the blame on them. We have to look at some things we can do and improve on ourselves. You know, what can we do there? Now, an Olympian sprinter, she's more than likely taking care of her body and getting the right nutrients. We know she is more than likely, at a higher percentage, on a good diet at least, getting the nutrients she needs, you know, eating the right things, and just suddenly dying at birth is unfortunate and it's sad. And we don't know what happened. And we could investigate that. But I'm not going to just chalk it up to racism or chalk it up to wherever without investigating and looking through it, which I'll look through it and see what the lyrical call was of that was. But it could have been unnecessary C-sections. A lot of those unnecessary C-sections is where you're seeing, because when you do a C-section, you got to do surgery now. And doing that, you're going to need medication. You're going to need, this will be a scar left over. So now you're talking about a whole different procedure. And I think that's what's really getting a lot of a lot of the issues, where we're really seeing a lot of those issues. How many black women decide to do C-sections versus any other race? Or is there more likely of the black woman to say, I want a C-section? That's what we will have to look into. But, we'll look into that. But this is why black women, you gotta unite. This is why you gotta unite, because if that's the case, I would send a word around to my black sisters. Hey, natural birth, no C-section. I know it's painful, but you have to, because you could die. The chances of you dying from a C-section birth is higher. So that's just something that can be communicated. That's all I'm saying. But I don't want to go too far into this. I just wanted to bring that up because I just want black women to be able to thrive and do well. Coming from a black mother, I have to. It's my duty. But yeah, are we going to police the police? Are we going to decide to get things in order? What is going to be the topic of the debate? What do you think? What's going to be the topic of the presidential debate? What is going to be those topics you think they're going to be mostly focused on? Because we know both are pro-police. They're not going to talk against the police, but Kamala will talk against what's been going on. Trump will a little bit, but he's not really going to go in on the police. He's not going to probably say anything about George Floyd. He's definitely not going to say anything about Sonya Massey. He's not going to say anything about it. So, and even if he does, it doesn't matter what he says. This is going to be. I just can't wait to see. I can't wait to see it. This is going to be a good one, because you can't nothing you threw at Joe you can throw at her. Nothing you threw at Joe you can throw at her. And then what you really want to talk about is the fact that she's a woman and that she's black and she's proud of being both. That's what you really want to talk about, and you can't do that. But what are they going to talk about? Because police are going out of control, man. Just out of control. We got police gangs, and what do you bet that he was either getting inducted into a gang or trying to get in, or already in a gang and had to go and do another bidding? He had to get in good graces with the gang leader. He had to go out and get a casualty, get a life. What if that was his objective? What if he just had to find somebody that night to take out, and he got it done, but he thought he could get away with it. He thought the pot was good enough, but it was the pot. He was the kettle calling the pot black. That's who he was. He's the kettle calling the pot black, and it bit him in the butt. It bit him in the butt, because while you're trying to improve your slave master, whoever is the owner or the leader of your gang in, Sonya Massey, think about how ironic her name is. Sonya Massey. Son ya mass sa. Think about that. And the fact that this is who killed her. This is who killed her. Is this a gang? And then we had the shooter last name was Crooks. God is either God telling us what's going on. He's exposing these slave masters, these slave-minded, these criminals, these crooks. He's exposing them and putting them right in front of you. And if you got to pick a side, you got to pick a side. And he picked the side. Yeah, turn to the left, turn to the right. Send him to jail, to prison, to under the prison. Hope they do him right in there too. But you got to choose a side right now. You have to choose a side right now. But that's crazy how her name was Sonya Massey. And she rebuked him in the name of Jesus. But rest in peace to our sister. Rest in peace. Just hate that this happened. We're gonna follow this as it unfolds. We saw the cam footage yesterday. It's not even a debate. It's not a debate. I don't care. I will not have that debate. We can do a panel. We will do another panel soon. I gotta get the panel started up. But y'all gotta get on here. Y'all gotta comment. Y'all gotta say stuff to let me know when you get in so I can start it up. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep talking. But just whenever we start it up, because I'll have my co-host here soon. We'll have a whole discussion about this and some other topics as well. But yeah, I think we're gonna do a stream next episode. Try to get a stream going. Cause we gotta talk about this. We gotta have some ideas bouncing for it. But yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We're gonna do this twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. Trying to stay on top of it, but it's getting busy. It's getting kind of hectic out there, so I do what I can. But I definitely got a lot of content coming, so y'all stay put. Stay tuned. It's coming. I just gotta keep going at it, stay consistent, and once it's at that right consistent level, and I get my co-host up here, oh yeah, we got music, we got movies, we got skits, we got so much content for you. I even have a way to get you to make some money in your spare time. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, appreciate everyone who came by today to have this conversation. Gotta police the police. We gotta crack down on the police. That's crazy. We gotta police the police. They got gangs forming inside of there. What are we gonna do to turn that around? But yeah, appreciate you guys. Remember to go to stillcollective.com. Look at your next collection you're going to get. Of course, go ahead and get over to my K-Bar. Get you a nice skincare body scrub, essential oil, turmeric soap. We got it all for you there. Just trying to take care of you. Black owned too, by the way. We're going to have some more black owned companies to showcase here pretty soon. So we're going to keep that going too. Didn't forget about you. How could we? All right. And we are out. Go ahead, like the video, subscribe. We're gonna go ahead and get on out of here. We'll be back next week. We might do something over the weekend actually. So y'all just stay put, stay tuned.
There's a war going on. Good versus evil. Light against
Garzan
darkness. Truth against lies. I'm talking about the war in your head.
That person that's holding you back, that person that's bringing you down, that person is you.
Are you gonna say you wanna do something? Do it for 2 weeks and then quit? Like you did last year, like you did the year before last? You say you wanna lose weight, get in shape, get your business off the ground, and then turn around and party, get lit, drink alcohol, eat like crap, and continue to live below who you were created to be?
No. Make a declaration to yourself. Declare all out war that you're going to get out of this rut.
Decide today that you will no longer tolerate losing. You are going to be a winner.
Be the hero of your own movie. If your life was a movie and it started now, what would the hero of your life's movie do right now? Do that. Do those things. Write down your goals. Write down things you want to improve. Write down things you won't tolerate from yourself. Write down things that you've done in the past that you never want to see yourself do again. And go forth from here.
All right. Yeah.
Welcome to the Big
Yeah.
It's
the great
Alexander.
Yes. Today in stories made, let them horns play. The Lord paved the way, let a nigga out his cage. They all think the same, let the blind lead the way. And it ain't worth the money if it doesn't make the change. Let me tell you about the places which I have came. Country living, that Carolina born and raised. Wasn't long before a young boy peeped the game. How they play it, got the Joker working next to Wayne. Those school days chilling with them boys out Eagle Chase. Them niggas do anything just for a piece of change. Out looking for a lick right on Rogers Lane. And now we're just on the team trying to get in the game. Already knew that I was here for a greater purpose. And ever since the day I left, I only grazed the surface. Mama says you won't go hungry if you're always working. So I open up for service, baby, come and make your purchase.
Mama ain't raised no fool. Mama ain't raised no fool. Don't you know my hero, my grind? And this money always on my mind. Yeah. Mama ain't raised no fool. Mama ain't raised no fool. Times are getting hard, bills getting paid late. Don't care how to make it, money gotta be made. Yeah.
Tell you my story as I'm flipping through the pages. Cause it ain't take me long to start this paper chasing. And in your city or your state, yeah, I make the statement. Niggas claim they Bill Gates, but they get negated. But the ones that get that dough, cooking up the dough, they get it for the low. To get them birthday